This Java class is called employee. The class imports the date class from the java.util package. The class has private instance variables ID, name, email, department, designation, and date of joining. The constructor of the class takes in values for all of these instance variables and initializes them. There are also getter methods for each of these instance variables, allowing access to the private variables from outside the class. Finally, there is an overridden toString method, which returns a string representation of the employee object, including all of its instance variables. This is a simple Java class called attendance record. The class has two instance variables. Date, a date object representing the date of the attendance record. Present, a Boolean value indicating whether the employee was present on the given date. The class has one constructor that takes two parameters. Date, a date object representing the date of the attendance record. Present, a Boolean value indicating whether the employee was present on the given date. The class has two methods. GetDate returns the date object representing the date of the attendance record. IsPresent returns a Boolean value indicating whether the employee was present on the given date. The class also overrides the toString method to provide a string representation of the attendance record, including the date and whether the employee was present. This is a simple Java class named leaveRequest that represents a leave request made by an employee. It has three private instance variables, start date, end date, and reason, which represent the starting date, ending date, and the reason for the leave request, respectively. The constructor of the class takes three parameters, start date, end date, and reason, and initializes the corresponding instance variables. The class also has three getter methods getStartDate, getEndDate, and getReason, which return the values of the corresponding instance variables. The toString method is also overridden to provide a custom string representation of the object. It returns a string containing the values of the instance variables. The HR Manager class is responsible for managing employees, their attendance records, and their leave requests. The class has three instance variables: employees, attendance records, and leave requests. Employees is a list of employee objects, while attendance records and leave requests are maps that associate each employee with a list of their attendance records and leave requests, respectively. The class has a constructor that initializes the instance variables by creating empty lists for each employee's attendance records and leave requests. The addEmployee method adds a new employee to the employees list and initializes empty lists for their attendance records and leave requests in the attendance records and leave requests maps. The addAttendanceRecord method adds a new attendance record for a given employee to their list of attendance records in the attendance records map. The addLeaveRequest method adds a new leave request for a given employee to their list of leave requests in the leave requests map. The getAttendanceRecords method returns the list of attendance records for a given employee from the attendance records map. The getLeaveRequests method returns the list of leave requests for a given employee from the leave requests map. The getEmployees method returns the list of all employees. The getEmployeesByDepartment method returns a list of all employees in a given department by iterating through the employees list and adding each employee whose department matches the specified department to a new list. The getEmployeesByDesignation method returns a list of all employees with a given designation by iterating through the employees list and adding each employee whose designation matches the specified designation to a new list. The generate attendance report method generates a report of attendance records for a given employee by retrieving their attendance records from the attendance records map and generating a report. The generate leave report method generates a report of leave requests for a given employee by retrieving their leave requests from the leave requests map and generating a report. This Java code implements a class named main. The class starts with some import statements that are used to import various Java classes like parseException, simple date format, date, list, and scanner. Inside the main class, there are 4 static variables, including an instance of HR Manager, a scanner object to read user input from the console, and a simple date format object to parse dates entered by the user. The main class contains the main method, which initializes the HR Manager, and then enters a loop to allow users to choose an option from a menu. The options include adding an employee, adding an attendance record, adding a leave request, viewing employees by department, viewing employees by designation, and exiting the program. The add employee method prompts the user to enter details for a new employee, including the employee ID, name, email, department, designation, and date of joining. The method creates a new employee object with the entered details and adds it to the HR Manager. The add attendance record method prompts the user to enter the ID of the employee for whom to add an attendance record, as well as the attendance date and whether the employee was present or absent. The method finds the employee object with the entered ID using the findEmployeeById method, creates a new attendance record object with the entered details, and adds it to the HR Manager. The add leave request method prompts the user to enter the ID of the employee who is requesting leave, as well as the start and end dates of the leave and the reason for the leave. The method finds the employee object with the entered ID using the findEmployeeById method, creates a new leave request object with the entered details, and adds it to the HR Manager. The viewEmployeesByDepartment method prompts the user to enter a department and displays all employees in that department. The viewEmployeesByDesignation method prompts the user to enter a designation and displays all employees with that designation. The initializeEmployees method creates and adds several employee objects to the HR Manager to initialize the system with some pre-existing data.